What's up, everybody? Dan Tortora here with Rob Drummond inside of Mother's Cupboard in this edition of From Mother's Cupboard to Table, as I am here with the Syracuse, well, both of us Syracuse natives, Syracuse CFL NFL alum, and part of one of two undefeated teams in Syracuse history. There's one in 1959 with Ernie Davis and one in 1987 with Rob Drummond and his team. Drum and I are here at Mother's on 3709 James Street in Syracuse after having the Cuse McMother, which I'm happy that I made this sandwich for the community and anybody that comes in, and I'm very happy that I don't ever have to tell Rob to get it, and he orders it all the time. So
all the time, it's good. I mean, as a food, well, Chris is a foodie. I'm secondary to her, but if someone who really likes food, it's good.
Thank you, appreciate it. I said to Rob, I go, why do you get it every time? He said, because it has everything I want. Bacon, egg, and cheese inside of 2 pieces of French toast with cinnamon and sugar. It is the dance.
Syrup.
What'd you say?
And syrup.
Yeah.
It's good. Confectionery sugar, bro. You got to try it.
It's the dance of every taste bud. That's why we made it here with Pete and Amy, and we thank the entire staff here at Mother's Cupboard. Speaking about Syracuse, you and I were both at Pro Day. We watched Pro Day together. Mm-hmm. And after Pro Day, Fran Brown decided to have an impromptu Zoom call with at least 200 alumni. Mm-hmm. What was the Zoom call about, and what can you tell us?
Oh, it was actually pretty cool. You know, it's just it was headed up by Turnell Sims, who's who I got, an offensive lineman. You know Turnell, who I played with at Syracuse.
One of your offensive linemen.
Correct. You know, and Turnell's the head of the Syracuse Football Club, Letterman's Club now. You know, and he called Fran and talked to Deion Mattis, you know, another liaison former player at Syracuse who was up there.
Yep.
And they got a Zoom call at last minute, you know, with players on. Last minute, they got over 200 players. Imagine if they did this earlier.
Imagine if they had set it up for like a week before.
So it was a great call. Fran got on, you know, and talked about the same things. You know, he talked about, you know, in his introductory meeting, the same things he's been talking about for the past 2 months that he's been here. You know, getting alumni involved. You know, he wants us around these young men. He wants us to be leaders. He wants us to be role models. He wants us to be mentors toward these young men going forward. And we all respected that. And we all appreciated that. You know, it was good to see some of the old faces. A lot of guys were coming up for the spring game on April 20th.
Some of the recent guys too. I saw Zach Mahoney was like, after that Zoom call, I'm going ahead and I'm getting my spring stuff set up. So.
I mean, but it's a great feeling. You know, it's a great feeling to be wanted. You know, to feel part of an organization that you put your heart and soul into for 3 or 4 years, whether you left early or not. You know, and gave everything you had for 4 years up there on that hill. You know, and to have a coach that appreciates you and appreciates the legacy and appreciates the effort and how much you can learn. You know, these young kids, these young men, I should say, you know, can learn a lot from you know, us older gentlemen now. You know, who have gone out there, whether they're playing pro football right now or whether they're in the business world, you know, or doing something with their life that's positive. They need to see more positive role models and influence around them, and Coach Brown understands that and he gets it.
Well, like we've talked about before for over a decade, if you're trying to sell toothpaste, you go to the people that used it and it whitened their teeth and they liked it. You don't just shut those people off. You go to the people that used your product and liked it. So when you're trying to get people to come into Syracuse and be a part of the football program, you should go to the people that were a part of the football program, committed to the football program, and had success within that program. When we had the introductory press conference with Fran Brown, you were there, I was there, and I asked Fran about what he wanted from the alumni, that what he wanted to say to the alumni, and he looked at the camera and he looked at you all in the room and he said, I want you to come out. I want to see you. He's like, don't get it wrong, I want your money too, but he's like, I want your presence. I want you to be there. And you can come to practice, and if you come to practice, you can come to my office and talk to me. If you don't come to practice, then zip it. When he said those words, do you feel like now a couple months later he was living by those words of saying, I want the alumni, I want your presence, I want you there? Did you get that from the Zoom call?
Oh, 100%. He's the same person yesterday on the Zoom call as he was the first day I met him. You know, he's always like, he has an open line, you know, and even with him, one night I called him early, you know, reached out to him, you know, but I know he's a busy man and everything right now, you know, first year running around, trying to do the recruiting, trying to get his coaching staff in place, trying to get his, you know, his active football staff in place and everything. So I know he's super busy, but it was just funny to me, like one of the first nights, you know, he calls me about 11 o'clock at night. And on my phone, I see it's Coach Brown. I'm like, okay, is something wrong here? So I answer the phone. He's just like, you know what? I'm a man of my word. He's like, and I told you I'd call you back. He's like, you know what? I just got out of meetings and everything, but I just wanted to call you and let you know that, that I got your message. And we sat there and talked for about 5 or 10 minutes. I know it was late. I told him, I know it's late. You got to get up early tomorrow, but I appreciate the fact that he even called me back. I would have understood if he didn't, because it was late and everything, and I get it because I was involved in that world myself, but for the fact that he took the time to sit there and reach out and pick the phone up and call me at 11 o'clock at night when he was done, just to let me know that he was still thinking about me and that he hadn't forgotten about me, lets me know the type of person he is and the type of coach he's going to be.
Yeah, and having that connection, that desire to, and I mean, being a person of your word. Floyd Little said it the day I met Floyd Little. He said to a bunch of us, he said, if you do not keep your word, you have no value.
No, you have none at all.
He said the most expensive thing you own is your word, and if you don't keep it, you have literally no value. And so we look at Fran now, and I mean, I wonder if there was ever a duo of people in the community that have been talking for a decade about wanting to keep the alumni involved. I wonder if you and I know anybody who has been beating the drum about wanting the alumni to be there that could be named Rob and or Dan. So we've talked about it for a long time, haven't we?
Robinson didn't say it. Marone didn't say it. Schaefer didn't say it. I mean, I can go on and on and on about the coaches that have been here that really didn't take anything about.
But you and I have been talking about
for
everything that Fran has said.
For years.
I mean, when we were sitting in that room in the introductory press conference and he was talking about the alumni, I was just sitting there nodding my head going, okay. I called my mom and I said, did I finally find my coach? Mm-hmm. And I didn't even go to Syracuse and play football there, but all of the alumni have meant the world to me because it's just, I don't know, meeting you and then the next and the next and the next, and now to have all these people of all different decades and different teams. I tell alumni, if you haven't been on my show yet, it's not because I don't want you to, it's because we just haven't talked yet.
Yeah.
And so for me to have a coach that wants to do the things that I've been trying to do for over a decade and that you and I have talked about, I mean, it's music to my ears because, I mean, what better way to learn about a program and connect yourself to a program? I mean, this is my city. This is my home. Yeah. Why would I not want to hear from the guy that played one down and the guy that was a Heisman Trophy winner? I mean, I want to know from everybody. And I've had guys say to me, why do you want to talk to me? I was a punter. Why do you want to talk to me? I only played for 2 years, or I had the starting job and I lost it. I said, because every single person that came through here matters, and the person that treats you like that is a person that I would respect. And it's hopefully that's what we're going to get from Fran.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, anybody that actually had the practice up there, or playing the game there, or walk out that dome tunnel, it's like, it's a legend to me. For the simple fact that I know what it takes to be able to go out there, and have to go to class, have to get up early in the morning, you get ready for class, have to come back from class, go down there, sit in the meetings, after meetings, go in there and take a shower and get ready to go out to practice, have to go out there and practice, come back in, watch film, sitting out there and watch film, and then after film, have to go to study table, and then blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So from about 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning until 11 o'clock at night, your day is taken up by whether it be school or football-related stuff. So that's 4 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night, 5 days a week. These Saturdays of the game, and then Sundays you watch film and everything, but you get a break. Sunday's the only break we have, but the dedication that you have to have for these players, it's unbelievable. So what a lot of people don't see is that all they see is if they go to a practice, they're lucky enough to see a practice. If they go to a game, they see game day. They don't see the preparation. They don't see the things that it takes for us to build up to get to that game day. And it's a lot. It's so much. So for anybody, whether it be the punter or the long snapper or somebody who's not a non-starter, they're all still legends to me in my mind, because once you put in that orange and blue uniform, and it represents Syracuse, you're always going to represent Syracuse, in my eyes, and we're all a family. So we always believe in one another, and now we have a coach that goes out there and who just doesn't believe in his current players, but he believes, in the former players, and he believes in the staff, and he believes in everybody who can be a positive role model and a positive influence on these young men coming up. I have a lot of respect for Coach Brown because, I had someone told me long before I met him, he thinks a lot like me. And the more and more I get to meet him, and the more and more things he says out of his mouth, some of the things he told us last night in the interview really were privileged, and I respect the fact that he asked us not to say anything, so I'm not going to say them right now because they will come out eventually. But it's things he does behind the scenes that he doesn't want the media or anybody else to find out, but he does them because it's the right thing to do, not for media attention. And I can respect somebody who does that. He doesn't need the accolades or to pound his chest or for you to think he's a nice guy for the things he does it because it's the right thing to do. And I respect who really does that, and I have a lot of respect for him.
Yeah, I mean, what it really comes down to, and when you talk about 4 a.m. to 10 p.m., that's not that you're up for 18 out of 24 hours. That means you're up doing something for 18 out of 24 hours. And, anybody that doesn't understand the life of a student athlete and how you are a full-time student, a full-time athlete, and that in the midst of going to class and going to practice and watching film and playing games and all this stuff, you have to find time to do your homework. You have to find time to be a human being, find time to eat, find time to talk to people, find time to date, find time to, read a book that you like. I mean, it's extremely difficult. And so knowing that the Zoom call happened, knowing that, there's this connection to the alumni, I saw it firsthand when I was down in Boca for the Boca Raton Bowl. And when I was down for that bowl, I did shows at one of the bars that was down there, O'Brien's, and I brought Syracuse alumni. And when I brought those Syracuse alumni, they said to me, hey, why don't you come out to our tailgate before the game? I went out to the tailgate. They said Fran's going to be there, maybe his staff. And I met Elijah Robinson, his defense coordinator, and I spent more time with Fran there. I was one-on-one with Fran, one-on-one with Elijah, and they were in the mix, talking to alumni, talking to people, and Fran was standing there with an SU jersey on, sweatshirt, and he was breaking down plays and schematically talking to you about different things. And I'm like, if you just walked up on this tailgate, you would have thought Fran and Elijah and the staff in general were like just dads of players. Yeah. You would have thought they were just fans. Yeah. And I think that says a lot.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, you would never know they were coaches.
No, you wouldn't.
They don't walk around with chips on their shoulder. They don't walk around like they're more important than anybody else. They don't walk around like they're better than anybody else.
They're not secretive.
They're regular human beings, but they have the utmost respect for us. Like, as someone who played 15 years professional football, as someone who's like people like my son always likes to say, it's like, Dad, you're a legend in this town. It's like, or everybody knows you in this town. I was like, well, young man, I accomplished something that's probably 1% of the population can do. And I did it in my own town where I was born and raised. So it's special. But it's like, but I never walk around here like I'm better than everybody else. And I treat the mailman the same way as I would treat the president of the United States. I treat everybody with respect, and that's what I sit there and I watch Fran Brown do. After some basketball games in the dome, here's a coach that's making millions of dollars up at Syracuse, but yet here's a coach that's walking around cleaning up garbage that people have thrown on the ground right behind him. So you got to have respect for somebody who's willing to put, to lower himself, although he has all the finances in the world not to have to do that, and all the notoriety and the publicity in the world not to do that. But he still puts himself in a situation to let you know that he feels that he's not better than anybody else, and it's going to take all of us to be able to be successful in this life, not just a few that have been fortunate enough to be able to be blessed to make a lot of money that can make a difference.
Yeah. If you want to get Syracuse back to greatness, go to the great ones that brought it there. Thank you to Fran for having that Zoom call.
100%.
Thank you to the alumni for getting involved. You always know you have a home here on Wake Up Call. And for Rob and I, from Mother's Cupboard to Table, you got a home at Mother's 7 days a week. 3709 James Street, Syracuse, from 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. You better get that Cuse McMother.
That's the sign right there, the Cuse McMother sign right there. I'm telling you.
Rob's pointing to it all the time. Thanks, brother.
Thank you.
Love you.
Love you too, kid.
Talk with you soon. Be well.